Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. On the second round of talks between the Ukrainian delegation and the Russian delegation in Istanbul, second for this year, they agreed to have 6,000 dead bodies exchanged. So 6,000 Ukrainian bodies held in Russia be repatriated to Ukraine, and the Ukrainians will give the Russians 6,000 dead Russian soldiers. They will send it to Russia. So they agreed to do this. And I will tell you one big reason the Russians claim, I think it's very valid, their argument, why the Ukrainians do not want to receive the Ukrainian dead bodies from Russia. That's about 6,000. There's two reasons, according to the Russians. Because the Russians say that when they showed up to have the first exchange of about 1,000 dead bodies, the Ukrainians did not show up. What's going on here? Well, I have three people here that would clear the air for us. First is the chief negotiator, the Russian chief negotiator. The other one is Mr. Medvedev, obviously, and the third one is the great Maria Zakharova. All right, let's go with the first, Maria Zakharova. This is from 7th of June. Russia accuses Ukraine of self-inflicted genocide in feud over troops' remains. The Kiev authorities do not need their people, dead or alive. Oh, that's cold, Maria, come on now. Russia's foreign ministry spokeswoman has said. So, Russian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova has branded Ukraine's failure to receive the bodies of its fallen soldiers an act of self-genocide, accusing Kiev of turning its back on its own people in both life and death. Well, they don't care. They are Ukrainians. Zelensky, Yermak, Umerov, and Zhmihal are, you know what. During talks between the two sides in Istanbul on Monday, Moscow decided to return the bodies of 6,000 Ukrainian soldiers in a unilateral humanitarian gesture. However, Russia's top negotiator, Vladimir Medinsky, this is the second guy, said on Saturday that the Ukrainian team failed, this Saturday is yesterday, failed to show up when the first batch of remains was delivered to the exchange point on the border between Belarus and Ukraine. Zakharova, she's very cold, this is Medinsky, the negotiator. Zakharova took to Telegram later on Saturday to slam the deliberate inaction of Vladimir Zelensky's government, saying that it, and I'm quoting, does not need its people, neither dead nor alive, end quote. And I'm quoting again, Zakharova, behave. There is no nation or ethnic group in the world that would refuse to bury its soldiers. Whereas those Ukrainian soldiers are not Zelensky's soldiers. That's the big connection Zakharova makes here. But there is in Kiev regime, which professes a misanthropic ideology and is committing genocide against its own people. Zakharova said, got it? All right, so this is according to Maria. Cold, cold, cold. Next one. From Sputnik. This is 20 hours ago, so it was from yesterday. Ukraine not reclaiming bodies for fear of admitting losses. Paying widows. Man, this guy is a cold guy too, Medvedev. So he said, the reason why these guys don't want their bodies is because they have to say, yes, there's more than 6,000 dead that the Russians have and accounted for. And that's the first one. And the second one, the Ukrainian government promised to pay each widow about I will show you the exact number, $300,000 for each dead Ukrainian man. But who's gonna pay that money? You and I, because we give aid. No, it's the banks who lend Ukraine, and who's gonna pay the widows with taxes. All right, and big prices. So let's see what Mr. Medvedev, the bad guy, the feisty guy, says. Kiev refuses to accept the bodies of Ukrainian soldiers because it does not want to admit the losses and is unwilling to pay compensation for their families. Dmitry. And here it is. The Kiev I'm gonna quote Medvedev. The Kiev bastards don't want to take the bodies of their dead soldiers. There are two reasons. It's scary to admit that there are 6,000 of them and they don't want to pay widows. All right, so that is the second, actually the third right there. You see this? This is the third article from Sputnik. Return of 6,000 soldiers' bodies will cost Ukraine extra $2.1 billion. But don't worry, it's not going to be from Zelensky's coffer or bank account. The return of 6,000 bodies of Ukrainian soldiers will cost the Ukrainian budget an additional $2.1 billion. Russia Today correspondent. He explained the possible reasons, I like this. These guys are journalists. Possible reason behind the breakdown of the agreements on the exchange of fallen soldiers' bodies. And I'm quoting, the family of each deceased soldier is entitled to state compensation of 15 million hryvnias. Over $362,000. $362,000. Since the start of the special military operation, Kiev has been avoiding this payout. A simple lack of space in morgues, which are overloaded. Ukraine's approach of ignoring the evacuation of the dead has backfired, and Kiev may simply not have the bodies of Russian soldiers. If they abandoned their own dead in the woods, what can be said about the bodies of the enemy? Now, what do you think? Everything this guy said, I go by possibilities and probabilities. It's possible. 100% could be possible. Could be 100% impossible. Not impossible. Not true. But it's possible that this guy's argument, the reasons they provide, are the real reasons. Now, let's go with probabilities. Is it probable? I don't know. I don't have the information. I don't think the Ukrainians have a problem with money because they're not paying. We are paying. So I don't think that's an issue. They have to pay the widows $362,000. Accepting that they have 6,000 dead bodies collected by the Russians, that would be a little bit of a problem. But they can switch it and turn it and say, yeah, actually, we admit that about 6,001 people died. That's all. And say the one is, I don't know, somewhere lost in space. So, what do you think, my friends? That could be the reason. Could be. And the guys are telling the way it is in cold blood and straight language, not little flowers and like these baboons right here. Straight. You don't want it because you have to pay. Second, you don't want them because you have to say those are 6,000 Ukrainian dead bodies, and it seems like the Russians caught them. Humanitarian, unilateral, humanitarian move. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.